Grand Rising, Grand Rising. How's everybody doing? Grand Rising from San Antonio, Texas, which is where we are today. And we're going to go do while Angie is out for a minute, we're going to do a quick live for about an hour. We're going to talk about a gentleman sent me a video. I wish I would have saved his name. But a gentleman sent me a video, and the video was about the red heifer. Now, I know we covered this when we were in Numbers 19, when we in our What's Wrong with the Bible series. In Numbers 19, we covered this information, but we're going to cover it a little bit differently today. I'm concerned with it because I think that this issue could possibly start a situation that evolves into World War III. And once again, we have religion to be thankful for all these things. Amen. Whoa.
It's Mexican hot chocolate.
Coffee. Huh?
It's Mexican coffee, hot chocolate.
Oh, coffee. Just need a cigar with it. Right, I'm going to do something a little bit different. Because my screen is cracked, I'm going to have to, in order to see your, well, no, that's not going to work on there. Well, anyway. No, I was still only see the comments from Facebook. It'll give people a little bit of time to come on.
Better be good.
I'm going to slightly do something that I never, ever do. Off to the side, I'm going to nibble on some food.
This line was around a lot. And it says, I skipped the line, Needed my boot this morning.
You know I am lying, right? You know I am lying. I'm just talking. Oh my God. Grand Rising, everybody. Grand Rising. Oh, this got a little cayenne in it.
Well, I know you said you want to try it, but you want to try it the other day.
It's actually good. Grand Rising, AJ from Nigeria, Wayne, Karen, Grand Rising, everybody. How many of you guys were you with me when we talked about when we was in Numbers in our series, What's Wrong with the Bible? If you're not familiar with that series, then you can go to YouTube, click on my channel, and then you can see the playlist for Numbers, and you see playlists for all of them: Genesis, Leviticus, Numbers, Exodus. And we talked about this on there. What are you snacking on? Well, we're in San Antonio, and Angelina got me some coffee from that place and a big old piece of bread.
No, there's something.
A big old croissant, because I like my croissants. I never watch people who do videos while they're eating. So this is going to be interesting. Let me see. Which way can I duck off the best? All right. I can duck off that way the best. Yeah, we're in San Antonio right now. But greetings from Holland. So we're going to get better at being able to do these on the road compared to doing them. You know what? I'm just going to eat in y'all face a little bit. But I don't smack. I don't chew with my mouth open or anything like that. That's why I don't watch other people when they eat. So let's get to it. So we're not going to do this all day. Right? Thank you for sharing the video, Wayne. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. My other, well, isn't that just infuriating? Give me 1 second. I had the verses up here that I wanted about this red heifer because I do want to refamiliarize you guys with it, with what it says. Now remember, if you was on the live yesterday, you know that my screen is cracked on my laptop, so I'm on the struggle bus as far as being able to read your comments. I do have your comments on my phone for Facebook, but so that I can kind of see what people are saying. But the reading is going to be a little bit interesting because I'm reading between some. I got a clear space and then some jacked up space. So the red heifer. How many of you guys remember or know about the red heifer? I asked a question so I can put something so I can eat a little bit. Who knows about the red heifer? It's in Numbers 19. Is where this whole scenario, this situation comes from. This is actually good. So that we don't have a long delay. What is this? That's good. Got chocolate in it.
Chocolate croissant.
Cameron says he don't know. Okay. So that's interesting. Angelina got a chocolate croissant, but she doesn't eat sweets hardly ever. So the red heifer, we're going to read through it real quick. It's in Numbers 19, and it's a ceremony that was established according to the book, during the time frame of Moses. You comment on TikTok video about the red heifer in Jerusalem, over 2,000 likes. All right, so that's what we're going to talk about. So let me read through most of it so that we have a basis of understanding. So the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, this is a requirement of the law that the Lord has commanded. Tell the Israelites to bring a red heifer without defect, blemish, and that has never been under a yoke. Give it to Eleazar, the priest. It is to be taken outside the camp and slaughtered in his presence. Then Eleazar, the priest, is to take some of his blood on his fingers and sprinkle them 7 times toward the front of the tent of meetings. While he watches, the heifer is to be burned. Its hide, flesh, bone, and intestines. The priest is to take some cedar wood, hyssop, scarlet wool, and throw them into the burning heifer. Onto the burning heifer. After that, the priest must wash his clothes and bathe himself with water. He may then come into the camp, but he will be ceremonially unclean till evening. The man who burns it must also wash his clothes and bathe with water, and he too is unclean till evening. A man who is clean shall gather up his ashes of the heifer and put them in the ceremonially clean place outside the camp. They are to be kept by the Israelite community for use in the water of cleansing, for it is purification from sin. The man who gathered up the ashes of the heifer must also wash his clothes, and he too will be unclean till evening. This will be a lasting ordinance for the Israelites and for the foreigners residing among them. Whoever touches a human corpse will be unclean for 7 days. They must purify themselves with water on the 3rd day, and the 7th day. So this red heifer is a purification for the people, and make sure, oh, let me skip down to 17 though. So it goes about other people who are unclean. But 17, for the unclean person, put some of the ashes from the burn purification offering into the jar and pour fresh water over them. Then a man who is ceremonially unclean is to take some hyssop, dip it into the water, and sprinkle the tent and all the furnishings and the people who are there. He must also sprinkle anyone who touches the human bone or a grave, or anyone who has been killed, or anyone who has died natural death. The man who is clean is to sprinkle those who are unclean on the third and seventh days of the seventh day of, and on the seventh day he is purified. He is to purify them. Those who are being cleansed must wash their clothes and bathe in water, and that evening they will be clean. But if those who are unclean do not purify themselves, they must be cut off from the community, because they have defiled the sanctuary of the Lord. The water of cleansing is not to be sprinkled on them, and they are unclean. It is a lasting ordinance for them. So in order for the Israelite community to become clean, to be able to be cleansed from and sanctified, they had to have a red heifer burned. This red heifer had to be without blemish. It had to have never worked, never have been used for work. And then that way, this water that they create, this water magical potion, then allows for the persons or people and items to become cleansed for the usage of this God. And according to one Greek historian whose name is falling out of my head, the 9 red heifers had been sacrificed up until the time that the second temple was destroyed. Since the second temple has not been destroyed, and since there hasn't been a temple, then a red heifer has not been. Now, I happen to be in San Antonio, and last year or the year before, some time ago, out of Texas, 10 red heifers were shipped to Israel in 2022. In 2022, I believe. And they've been sitting and waiting. And it is being said that this year, right before Passover, that the Israeli government, that the priests, that they are going to sacrifice one of those red heifers, because for 2,000 years they haven't had a sacrificial red heifer. They haven't had one that was without blemish. They haven't had one that without blemish. They haven't had one that didn't work. So it had to have never worked and without blemish. Let me see what some of the comments. They show us a red heifer, meantime behind the scene it's a human sacrifice. That's what the Christians. And we're gonna get into that actually, because when I was researching this video, there was so much information. There were so many comments from Christians that I thought were hilarious. So I know YouTubers can't see Facebook comments. Facebook comments can't see YouTubers comments, but I try to throw some of those up. Thank you very much. So I'm hungry, y'all. So please forgive me. The red heifer if they were to sacrifice a red heifer now today or this year, it could create a situation of World War III. So we're going to talk about two things. One, how this can create World War III. Two, Christians who are in support of this. I was going to say it nicely, but they're idiots, complete idiots. And I'll explain that when we get to that part. So, how could this situation create a real life situation that could cause us to have, that could affect everybody or millions of people around the world? Right now, Israel has already purchased the land on the Mount of Olives and have built a structure that is befitting for a sacrifice, to be able to sacrifice the red heifer. It overlooks the Temple Mount, which right now, this is where the Muslim have the Dome of the Rock and one of their synagogues. They don't call them synagogues. What do Muslims call their churches? Mosque. They're mosque. So the problem is where the Dome of the Rock and where this mosque sit is the place that they would need to build the temple. Now, there are some people who say that there's enough room next to the mosque and the Dome of the Rock. Hey, Nikki, it's been a while. There's enough room for them to go ahead and build it there and have it, and without having to destroy the Dome of the Rock or the Temple Mount or the mosque that's right there. But in true fashion, they're going to want to build a temple, Solomon's temple, on the very spot that Solomon built the second temple, according to their story. And the second temple was there. So in saying so, they will most likely want to destroy the Dome of the Rock and destroy the mosque. And if they ever destroyed the Dome of the Rock and the mosque, then that, of course, would create World War III. The other option, because there's three, so right next to it, destroy it and take it over. The other option is that they're considering, or there's speculation, that they will create a unified temple that will allow for all religions to be facilitated on those grounds. That's not an impossible thought process, because right now in the United Arab Emirates, there is a location, a place where they have a church, a mosque, and a synagogue all in one space. Grand Rising Michaels. And they have it all in one space. And it's supposed to be like the universal learning center, universal church. It is the Abrahamic Center. So it's like a universal place for all the Abrahamic religions to showcase and get along with one another. But there are some restrictions of symbolism and things of that nature at this location. Now, that would be the most peaceful way that wouldn't create World War III if they just build a unified center on there. But even to do so, they would have to get rid of the Dome of the Rock. So it still would create some issue. How far it would go, I don't know. But here again, because they want to do this animal sacrifice in the name of their deity, their religion, their God, it's still creating a situation where tension can build up between all the Arab nations around them, because they would have to take the Dome of the Rock, or at least make changes to that area. And if they do, I think we will see we will see war come to Israel from other Arab nations. But here's the problem. Problem is America. And the problem is Russia and China. You see, America idiotically has this blind-eyed trust with Israel. American politicians turn their eye away from the atrocities of Israel, turn their mindset away from whether or not they're doing it's a good thing to be allied with them, all for the sake of Christianity. For the sake of Christianity, right? And for the life of me, I understand initially why Christians are supportive of Israel, but then it has to go left. It has to. If a Christian really believe in the Jesus Christ story, the Jesus Christ narrative, then they should recognize that just as well as the Muslims turned away from Jesus, so did the Jewish people. But it's that storyline of the chosen people that Christians get caught up with. It's like Christians are starstruck with Israelites. Like, because of that whole chosen people narrative, Christians are starstruck with them. And because they're starstruck, they can't see the folly. Like, I'm not trying to have a conversation about this, but people who are starstruck with Diddy are going to say he's innocent, he didn't do nothing, without even looking at any information or facts. I don't know if he did anything or not. Probably did, but we don't know yet. Everything is allegedly. Because I'm not starstruck with him, I will sit back and say, well, let me see what happens. Right? Let's see what information comes out. Christians don't do that with Israelites. They're like, oh, the Israelites can't be wrong. What they're doing over there and to the Palestinians is not wrong. So they'll just keep letting it slide. Now, because America would side with Israel, that is what could create World War III. Because I am pretty sure that the Russians and Chinese will side with the Arabs. And then all hell gonna break loose, because then you're gonna get NATO involved, and then you're gonna get all these other countries involved, and it's just gonna be a big, massive war. And then you're gonna have issues with countries like America, because you're gonna have people who don't support it. You're gonna have in Europe and Africa and China and Russia, they're gonna have people who don't support it. So it's going to, but the government will do what the hell the government wants to do. I know I'm seeing some of you guys question that. It's not because of religion, but because it's written. The Bible is more updated than all the mainstreams and material today. Actually, where in your New Testament, Aaron, does it speak of a red heifer? And this is where Christian was talking about Jesus was the red heifer. In the comments of other people's videos, when they talked about this, they were talking about how Jesus was the red heifer. Jesus was never the red heifer, because you know what? He would violate it. Although you can make your case as a Christian or a believer in Jesus that he was without blemish, that he was perfect. But you have the problem with the fact that Jesus worked. As a young man, he worked. He learned a craft. He was a craftsman. He worked. And this thing is supposed to have not ever taken on a yoke. So Jesus does not fit a symbolism of the red heifer. And yeah, it will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Yeah, the West is brainwashed with Christianity. What was that one? I'm using my phone to actually see what y'all wrote, and then find it on here. I understand that religious man may believe that there is no creator. Well, I have my doubts that there is a creator. It possibly could be, possibly could not be. Not enough evidence. There's no factual evidence to be able to prove it, and we never will be able to prove it. Not everyone doesn't know we're over all the racism, race war make us die for nothing. No. Who is we? Who is the we that's all over? Not everyone does know we're over all this. All this racism. I got you. Got you. Dawn. It's quite all right. That's funny. But Christians they do want to believe blindly. And so anything that happens in Israel, they think is a fulfillment of prophecy. That if they sacrifice this red heifer and then they rebuild the temple. Now, understand, some Christians do need for that. Some Christians are so eager for all the torment that happens in the book of Revelations, the book of Daniel, the four gospels, that when they become apocalyptic, some Christians want these things to happen so bad that they welcome all the war and pestilence. They look forward to it, which really shows me that these are people whose lives, that they have an innate hatred of their life and lives, that they want to rush the end of all things, as from their perspective. Now, a third temple, in order for the Christian prophecies to come about, a third temple does have to be built. They have to have a third temple. And it would create some problems. The Masons don't have a plan for World War III. I'm not going to get into that. I meant to hit this one. Yeah, I've been told I'm supposed to forgive somebody 144,000 times before I can do something to. Right, it's supposed to be 70 times 7 of your forgiveness. Yeah, that you're supposed to be able to forgive people. But the person who put the thing about Masons, if you knew anything about true Masonry and not what the people who just go into sound bites about it, Masonry is about making people better, individuals better, making men better, and making families better and stronger. It's not about world domination. But anyway, that's not the subject today. So the Christians need for the third temple to be built. So I understood when some Christians were saying that these are interesting times, the end time, the world is coming towards that end, fulfillment of prophecy, but what they don't realize is that the third temple has to be built so that the Antichrist can sit on that temple, can sit on a throne in that temple. And so that Antichrist can also kill millions and millions of people, naming them especially. If Christians actually understood their book, they would recognize that there is no pre-rapture before the tribulation happens. So, oh, Dawn, hey, sister. So that they would know that if I was a Christian, when I believed in Christianity, and I recognized that there is no pre-tribulation rapture, I did not want prophecies to be fulfilled during my lifetime, because I did not want to have to suffer through the last 3.5 years of the Antichrist going all bananas on Christians and Muslims and Jews and anybody who didn't conform to the one world religion. I didn't want any part of that. So I was like, no, I need these prophecies to come be fulfilled after I die. I just want to wake up in glory. That was my thought process when I was a Christian. I just want to wake up in glory, right? Wake up to the revelation, to Armageddon being over and meeting Jesus in the sky, as I was taught and used to teach. So I don't know what's wrong with these Christians who are saying that they are thrilled and excited about this kind of thing that's happening. And then they're thrilled and excited about an animal being sacrificed. And they're thrilled and excited about the most likely World War III if this were to happen. They have all these, they're thrilled and excited. They got some serious problems. That they want the 4 angels to show up on the banks of the Euphrates River, and then with a 2 million man army kill a third of the population. They want that death and destruction. They want the diseases and all these sorts of things. So I don't understand these Christian mentality that wants those, but that's what you got. You got a lot of that. And then they keep saying, pray for Israel, pray for Israel, pray for Israel. Okay, so they want to keep praying for Israel to be able to build their temples, kill their animals, do all these things, not realizing or not stating that Israelis are not Christians, so you're not believing in the same God. You're believing in different gods, but you try to make it into the same God. Oh, thank you for the donation. Was it Triflin? My screen is cracked, so I can't see everything perfectly. Why do the majority of A-list celebrities come from the Black Boule, which is a Freemason sect? Well, one thing about Freemasonry, it does allow for people to be connected to one another. I don't know a whole lot about the Black Boule. I've seen that, and I just throw it out there. I've never done a lot of research on that. But Freemasons help one another. We certainly do. If I see a Freemason on the side of the road and his car's broke down, I'm going to stop. I'm going to help him until they are taken care of. If I'm doing job interviews and I got 2 qualified people and one's a Freemason, the other one's not, I'm hiring the Freemason. Now, if he's a Freemason and a Marine, I'm hiring that joker. Just like being in the Marine Corps, it has its benefits, it has its privileges. You meet another brother Marine, you are more supportive of that brother because you have a code that you share. The code that we share in Masonry is to make good men better. So within those organizations, they do have people that rise to higher esteem. I'm only answering this question in detail because I've always said people who donate, I would definitely answer all their questions. So I'm not trying to get off the subject matter. So let's not get too far into this one. But it is just, that's, if the Black Boule is a bunch of Freemasons, then of course they're going to assist one another, as in with any type of organization. Former policemen of the same, policemen, firemen, they all assist each other. People in other different groups, the Elks. What was that group? What was that city? I forgot what it was called. But like members of chambers of commerce, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, but people on the outside always see things as being evil if they're not part of it. And yes, there are bad people in every situation. So let's get back to the subject matter. So, but I appreciate your donation, my guy, and I hope I answered your question sufficiently. I think you're a guy. I can't see the picture to know whether or not, because of the cracked screen. So they're Black gatekeepers. No, it's not about gatekeeping. If you have talent, if you have skill, and you have tenacity, and you work the right avenues, you can get into whatever you desire to get into. It is the belief that gatekeepers prevent you from doing something. It is not about gatekeeping. It is when you become a part of an organization or a group, then it just grants you more access, but it doesn't inhibit other people from gaining access. It is to your benefit. It is just like just being, I don't know what I can't, like I said, I can't see the picture, but just me as a Black man, just being Black, it offers some obstacles. It offers obstacles, but it also offers opportunities that other people wouldn't get. Just treatment from different people, like different people see you differently, treat you differently. So, and that's with anything, just being a Marine. So you could call every Marine who is a hiring manager a gatekeeper, because they will have a preferential treatment towards Marines first and then other veterans. And so, is that gatekeeping? No. It's just you have a deeper understanding of the type of person you might be dealing with when you know they're affiliated with something. It doesn't prevent anybody else. Everybody in, I think you said Hollywood celebrities, everybody in the celebrity sector are not part of the same organizations and groups and all these sorts of things. That's just the kind of conspiracy theory thing that people throw up there all the time. But not gatekeeping at all. It's just that if you are a member, it makes things easier. Yeah, the Bible is created for mass control. And the fact that in modern day that these people would be trying to still believe that animal sacrifice and mixing it up with some cedar and hyssop and in some water, and then that allows for the purification. Now, do I think BB believes this stuff? No, I don't think BB believes this stuff. But he knows and understands the power of the people who believe in it. And if he can be the facilitator, the government can be the facilitator of that, then it gives them more power over the people. Imagine how much the Israelite people all around the world are going to love BB if he is president when they rebuild the third temple. It will be self-fulfilling, because a lot of the people who claim Judaism will move to Israel or come to Israel because the third temple is built. They will be there and they will live there, strengthening their economy, strengthening their military, strengthening every aspect of their society with the sheer volume and number of people that will be able to move there. And BB will be the Messiah for them. And that's the mentality. They would think that BB is the Messiah. Because by Israel being a free state, if he takes taking more of the Palestinian land, so thereby trying to fulfill the promise to Abraham, and then building the temple, Jesus ain't got a chance. It's going to be BB. BB will be their Messiah. And Christians don't realize that, and they're running around in America and running around in other countries talking about, oh yes, pray for Israel. I support Israel. Israel, they're God's chosen people, yet they don't believe in the same God that you do. Your God got 3 parts. Their God used to be a storm deity that now is just one God. And these people are believing it, but this will make BB the man. Let's see. I'm trying to see some of your questions. Anything about Black Jesus? Oh, hey, Mahendra. I did the video yesterday. I did the video yesterday about Putin's. If you're talking about Putin's video, let me make sure you're talking about. Are you talking about Putin's video? Let me make sure you're talking about that. Actually, I started to make that the subject matter of this live today. But I know I'm gonna do this. I'll do a short video on either one. But I did a Putin video yesterday, if that's what you're talking about, Mahendra. Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate that, Jessica. Yeah, so even though I had one person who tried to tell me that they were, and they might be Russian, they said that they were saying it wasn't fake. But from all information that I could research, and by listening to the video, and with a very, very little bit, a tiny bit of Russian that I do comprehend, that video was fake. That was a fake video. Now, he did give, I forgot to add this to the short video that I did. I knew I forgot something. Within that speech, he did donate to the military a image. It's called the God dog it. That's why I forgot to put it in there. But it's like a cloth that magically appeared to have the image of Jesus on it. And it's a relic. That cloth is probably a fraudulent relic anyway. But he donated that. It has value because people create value. And he did give that to the military. He donated that to the military. But the overwhelming majority of that speech was in praise of the military and talking trash about America, pretty much. That was what it was saying. Him saying that we've unlocked these vaults and we found that Jesus was black and da da da. Yeah, no, it's not the Shroud of Turin. It was a different thing. It's called the cloth with no hand that no hand has touched, something like that. The cloth that no hand has touched is called something like that. Most people have never heard about it, but they haven't. That video, from all accounts that I could find, was fake. Plus, I looked at that video and then I looked at his State of the Union address. He's dressed in the exact same clothes, and you might let that slide. He's in the same place. Might let that slide. But the audience was all dressed in the same clothes and sitting in the same place as when he did his State of the Union address. That was the thing that made me initially say, this got to be fraudulent. I tried to use a translator to listen to what he said, but I couldn't find a video. Where it was just the State of the Union, where there wasn't an overlapping voice. And so I couldn't use a translator to see what he was really, really saying. So I went to a few trusted news sites, and even the Russian news site is state-owned, but they were even saying that, no, this is the State of the Union address. This is not him saying Black Jesus. So from what I can tell, it's fake. And then I went to some of the fact checker sites, and I went through 4 of them, and all 4 of the fact checker sites were saying that it was fake. So I'm pretty sure it's fake. I only had one woman who said she's Russian and he was talking about Black Jesus. And I don't know. She was just somebody on Facebook. I don't know her. I don't know. She claimed that she's from St. Petersburg, Russia, and now lives in Hilton Head, South Carolina. But I don't know if I can trust that, because she may not be. She might just want to be different. But now, have they always had pictures of, back in the day, pictures of Jesus, the apostles, and all these people as being Black? Sure. Does it really matter? No. Peter Parker's white, Spider-Man. Does that make him real? If Miles Morales is the Black Spider-Man. They're fictional characters. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. So let's try to get back to the subject. Believing that the building of the third temple is idolism, wrapped up in a false sense of protection. If you can control your beliefs and control what you believe, then you can control what you believe and control how you think. Now your actions are tricked down. Yeah. But even though the Bible tells people not to get caught up in buildings and all this kind of stuff, Christians do. And for this is the fulfillment of their little prophecies. Yeah, that woman's talking trash. I have got to get this computer screen fixed or get me another computer, because this is going to get on my nerves. But at the end of the day, I generally wouldn't give 2 cares about them sacrificing a red heifer, other than the fact that they're just sacrificing this animal, and that's torture. I generally allow people to just believe whatever you want to believe. But this one actually bugs me in the fact that it could spark a war, a major war. And the fact that there's so many people who are signing up for this thing, who think that is great, is the saddest part. So I'm gonna open the door. Any questions, any statements, any conversation for about 30 minutes. And then we got to go and do some sightseeing here in San Antonio, like tourists. We're gonna go to the Alamo, since down the street. How did they come up with those black paintings? Well, it's no secret that so it's really not a secret that a lot of the paintings of the apostles and whatnot what people made those paintings in the 1st and 2nd century, that they was making them, people of color, right? That they were brown and black. That's no secret. It is not until the Romans got heavily into Christianity in the 2nd and 3rd, the 3rd and 4th century, that they began to Hellenize the imagery of the apostles and Jesus and whatnot, and started to make them more Caucasian. So the older you can find something, the more you might find them being a person of color. And then there were artists throughout the centuries who were more like true to art and would make them people of color. I'm trying to see questions. Forgive me for my slowness. It's just the computer screen got these lines going through it on some parts and I can barely read it. Why did the Holy Ghost become the Holy Spirit? Well, really, you just got that, the Council of Nicaea. When the Council of Nicaea was trying to take these 3 primary, images and make them into one unified God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, they then, in that conversion, made the Holy Ghost the Spirit of God. So you really have that being talked about in the late 2nd century, and then late 3rd century. And then by the time we get to the 4th century, which is your Council of Nicaea in 325, they had to make it all one. The globalists, like an Armageddon scenario, to thin the herd of masses. Too many worker bees, useless eaters. You're gonna get mad at me, Thomas. Don't get mad at me, Thomas. Look, we got to do one or two things. All right, we messing up the planet. So either we got to thin the herd, or we got to stop eating meat. We got to stop eating flesh. Let me put it, say flesh, or at least, okay, I mean, I say stop because I know that's hard for people, but we need to reduce our consumption of flesh by two-thirds. I was gonna say 3/4, but I'll be nicer and say 2/3, because at the rate of consumption, we are killing the ocean and we're killing the land. So we got to reduce that. If we don't want to thin the herd, which is, I don't really want to thin the herd, but y'all hard-headed. These humans, them humans that's walking down the street, that dude right there across from me in his office building working, he messing it up. I don't want a thin dude. I don't want to get rid of him. He has a right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness like everybody else. But he need to change his ways so that if we stop eating so much flesh, then the fishing industry reduce themselves. And by their reduction of what they are doing to the ocean and the fishing and what they're doing to the land to have cattle, animal husbandry, it'll allow for the earth to heal, and the earth can grow enough fruits, vegetables, grains to feed everybody. So now you can still have some barbecue. I'm just saying, cut it down. That's all I'm saying. We need to cut everything by a third. Between Jehovah and Lucifer, who is powerful? Okay, although I know what you mean, I'm gonna correct it a little bit, okay? Because Lucifer is just the planet Venus. Lucifer is that's it. It's the morning star. It's not a person, it's not a being. So between Jehovah and the devil, who is powerful, they're both equally, if they existed, they're both equally on the scale of good, evil. As far as you can see good, as far as you can see evil, as far as anyone can swing between the two, they are equal. Neither is more powerful than the other. But what's more powerful than Jehovah or the devil is you. You're more powerful than either one. Without your belief, they don't exist. They have no power. The only power, real power, is you. The power of your mind. And then your actions that follow. Meat is dead, fruit and vegetables are alive. It makes more sense to put something alive instead of a living body. You're absolutely right. And I know, oh, wait a minute. What was that question? I truly believe that HIV, AIDS, COVID are examples of the powers trying to thin the herds. I will agree with you 100% on that one. I agree 100% on that one. I look, COVID-19 was a test. It was a test. And HIV was, in my opinion, of what I've researched and what I've seen with the government, HIV was a herd thinning thing until it got out of control. Just like, but that's what they don't seem to realize. You're never going to be able to control something like that. It is always going to get out of control. Okay, Lucifer didn't kill nobody. That was the Hasatan. The Hasatan is the adversary, or in Sumerian is the administrator over the earth. So that will be Enlil, right? The Hasatan is not pure evil. It's just Enlil. It's just it's going to the heavenly council. It's in heaven, right? So I'm with you, but we got to stop using Lucifer because it's not Lucifer. But yes, this guy killed more people than anybody else. Okay, Brian W. wrote a book. I'm a globalist. I live here on this earth. Okay, we need to reside somewhere beyond the globe. Migrate to another part of it. Boy, you about to get in that category. I can't with some of y'all. If we don't worship them, their energy will die. Pretty much. Like, did you ever see them horrible remakes of Clash of the Titans? In them horrible remakes of Clash of the Titans, it was like the gods were becoming weaker because the people were not believing. But like Hades realized that through fear, he grew more powerful than Zeus. Yes, I did sacrifice my brain cells and watch those because I was a fan of the classic Clash of the Titans movie back in the day. That movie was great. Will you think Jesus dying on the cross is just like Hollywood blood sacrifice? I don't know about Hollywood blood sacrifice because to me, those are conspiracy theories that have no proof. But yes, Jesus was a human sacrifice. The story that they're telling is of a human sacrifice, and people are reveling in the fact that human sacrifice was needed to cleanse them of their sin. Now, cultures have always, almost every culture have a history of at some point being utilizing human sacrifices. And the fact that Christians can't understand that that's still what they're believing in just kills me. What and where is heaven? In your mind, all around you. You can, heaven was yesterday riding through from between El Paso and San Antonio, and with this one curve that we came off on, and then like all these bluffs and plateaus just opened up. And in my mind, I know how much my grandfather loved westerns, how much my mother loves westerns, and it was so beautiful and big sky, you know, bright blue clouds. It was like an amazing view. That was heaven. So heaven is whatever you make it out to be. Or that could have been hell, because you're in the middle of nowhere and there's no gas station, there's no civilization. What if something happens? What if the bike breaks down? What if you have a wreck? It could have been hell for somebody else. So heaven is in the mind. Trying to see. Human sacrifice, double down on it with cannibalism, great religion. Yeah, then they do with the eating of his body and the drinking of his blood, and they don't see anything wrong with it. And as long as it's their God, there is nothing wrong with it. They think it's fine. I felt the same way when driving there with Zona. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's been some amazing ones. Normally going through over those mountains and into San Diego would have been a beautiful thing, but it was raining and cold as shit. So it was horrible. Oh, what's up, Dwayne? I think Jesus being sacrificed, the rest and example to Christians of Roman rule and power, then Christians turn it into human sacrifice to justify their own belief. I think Jesus being sacrificed, the rest and example to Christian of Roman rule. I'm not exactly sure I understand, unless I'm reading it idiotically. I think Jesus being sacrificed, the rest and example to Christians of Roman rule. Okay, I'm just gonna say that I don't know what that was just not clicking in my brain. I'm saying they choose to bring heaven down to earth. I never heard that saying before, but yeah, you can choose to have heaven right here on earth. That's one of the things that attracted me to the Gospel of Thomas when I was in my 20s, and helped me in my walking away from this religion, because the Gospel of Thomas is very emphatic about the idea that the kingdom of God is at hand, it's in front of you, it's all around you, but you just can't see it. But you can have heaven now. You don't have to wait. I think Jesus being sacrificed was an example to Christian of Roman rule and power. Okay. Gotcha, Aaron. Here's the thing about that. Every Passover, there was always Jewish people claiming to be the Messiah. And every Passover, the governor of Judea had to deal with these people. So this wasn't a common event that happened. And yeah, sometimes they would kill them. But there is one recording of Governor Quirinius crucifying a Yahshua. But then after 3 days, then he took him down and he survived, which is interesting why they bring myrrh to the body, because myrrh is has healing properties to it. So why would Joseph of Arimathea bring myrrh? Unless it is to heal them, because it was common that people didn't die on the cross. Not everyone on the cross died. But they had to deal with that every year. But if you're writing a new religion, you raise the stakes. And he died, and then he woke up in 3 days from death, instead of them just being up there for 3 days. And the reason why usually families were around was to keep the birds from messing with them and to feed the person while they were up there and give them a drink, because crucifixion wasn't a death sentence most of the time. Crucifixion was just a punishment. Like, you ever so like it's like you ever go to those ancient places, they got in the center of town, they got the little stockade thing that they put people in with the head and the arms, you know. It was like that kind of thing was part of it, which is why oftentimes people weren't nailed to a cross, they were just strapped to it. And but even if you was nailed to it, doesn't mean you're gonna die. You're not gonna be being struck in the now that wrist part that could cause you to bleed out, but most of the time, you're not gonna bleed out. Jesus hit his thumb with a hammer. Damn me. You see, I can't see it. What motivates you to do these things when there are a bunch of people who are unwilling to change their mental slavery? You're knowledgeable, and I admire your life. So I mainly was motivated to do this so that if anything ever happens to me, that my children will have my knowledge, and then they can do with it whatever they want. But then once I realized that there were other people out there who had on their own decided to walk away from religion, then I'm motivated to do so to help them in their journey. I have no desire to convert anybody. I honestly don't. If a person wants to stay in their religion, I completely don't care. I know that might sound odd, but I'm not an evangelist, so I could care less. If a person, to me, it's more about self-discovery. It's something that you have to discover on your own, something that you have to go through in a process of your own. And then, quite frankly, there are some people who need religion in order for them to be a good person. I would rather they believe in some stupid ass religion to be a good person than for them to not and go around killing people or harming children or whatever. So yeah, the motivation is the fact that my kids they still in their 20s, so they don't listen to everything. They ain't hit that full maturity yet. But also just helping other people who have made that decision on their own. Actually, I don't know how I would feel if somebody came and said, I was a full-fledged Christian, then I started listening to you, and I now walked away from Christianity. I don't know how that would make me feel. I don't know if I'd be like, yay, because that's not my goal. Yeah. And you got me thinking about that. Christians say Jesus is alive, so when they die, they won't see him. I can't with y'all. That's stupid. Them junkies love Jesus. Y'all are going in. I left religion in 2018, and my life did a 360. Being free thinking also is free. Outstanding, Jessica. That's what I'm talking about. Actually, I'm gonna do a video after I finish this one in a few minutes, where this person was asking, like, what do I think about people who have this belief they experience this faith in Jesus, whatnot, and then their whole lives get better and they lead productive lives. Like, if there's no Jesus, then it's like, why does that happen? Well, that happens in every religion. And that just shows the power of the mind. So really, they just gave me something that I want to talk about, the power of the mind and manifesting your own future. If someone offered you $10 million to be a Christian again, Would you do it? Y'all will never hear from me again. I was like, hey. No, I actually no. There are a lot of things I have a price for. But everything has a price. Let me not say that. Everything has a price. If somebody offered me $10 million, well, it depends on what I got to do. It depends on what I got to do. I mean, but it wouldn't work because I would never really believe it. I'd be faking it. You know what I'm saying? It'd be fake. So when Jesus into the heaven in front of them people, do you think he was flapping his arms like a bird? Nah, I think he did the Matrix thing, just hands by your side, looking up. Y'all must be bored with all these jokes. I think the truth is to be shared, not kept from people with a desire to learn. When you rob people of the truth, you take away their greatness, and you take away their greatness, and you become just as weak as the people you claim to be. Yeah, I would agree with that. That is why I would just tell people the truth, and I don't. If something is my opinion, I say my opinion. If something's a theory, it is a theory. But when something is, it just is. That kind of feels like pretending to be a Christian just in case. I'm not sure which comment that's for, but yeah. A lot of people do that though. A lot of people are still maintaining Christianity because it makes them feel safe. Just in case, I don't want to be wrong, but just in case. But if they know that there's God knows their heart and knows them truly, then they know that they're not real believers. Fake it till you make it, bro. It depends on what I gotta do. Like if I gotta start a church and be a pastor and all that kind of stuff, then hell no. But if I just gotta sit my ass down, traveling, I'd be investing the hell out that money. Isn't heaven and the eternal kingdom different? There is some differences that many Christians would have extrapolated into their mind. Like you have the bosom of Abraham is a different place. You have the eternal kingdom. You have the kingdom that is set up on earth. Sorry, the 1,000-year kingdom on earth, and then you got being in the eternal kingdom with God. But the word heaven really is just the sky. But many people hit it from different perspectives. My life has been much better after Christianity. So has mine. It is so much more freeing, and you feel more of who you are, and you don't feel the pressure of all that bullshit. I can't see my comment. You should be able to see your comment. Build me a bunker with that money. Y'all stupid. Right, but at the end of the day, there's no heaven, no hell. It's just different dimensions. And your mind is attracted to whichever one you believe. You go where you believe you should go. And you create it. All right, I'm gonna have to get off here, guys. We are in the tourist town. They ain't tourist town, but we're here in San Antonio, spending an extra day. Tomorrow we do head to New Orleans. Oh, excuse me. That was so rude. I meant to just like stretch my little back out. I did not mean to yawn. That was rude. My apologies. So yeah. So we're gonna end today. You guys have been great as usual. And we're gonna see what happened with this red heifer. We don't see. Marcus, I can just see your question. Africans were, depending upon what Africans you're talking about, because Africa is huge, but most Africans were minding their own business, uh, worshiping their own gods, having wars with their neighbors, having babies, living, building cities, doing the same shit everybody else is doing. Yep. But it's good to be doing lives again after this 3 weeks of layover. Um, if anybody's in San Antonio, I know tonight we will be at Cigar International. So Cigar International is where we were going later on tonight, and out here in San Antonio suburbs. Uh, Probably get there around 9-ish.
Did you just shoot me?
Angelina's being violent. She's throwing water bottle tops and she can't even make the throw. It barely even reached here.
Whatever.
Didn't even get here. So I will talk to you guys. I got to shoot a couple of videos and then we're going to get out of here. And the next live, probably do a live in New Orleans. Not when we get there. Just the one day that we're there. Oh, that's Saturday. No, we're not doing live on Saturday. So okay. So I'll see you guys next Tuesday on the live. And go follow us at Eat, Sip, and Smoke Travels. So we are the vlog is also, it's about cigars, but it's about food. It's about, and Angelina, when we're at home, she does cooking demonstrations and just places we travel. Yep. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna do a correction video on the whole Ishtar thing. Easter is not about Ishtar or Elnana. It's not about it. The history of it is different from what Zeitgeist got. Some information right, but they got a lot of shit wrong. Okay, Eat, Sip, and Smoke Travels. Eat, Sip, and Smoke Travels. So y'all have a great one. Always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.